Hello, and welcome back to the Credit Agent Show. On today's episode, we're going to be talking about the history of credit. So let's take a trip back in time. So back in the day, local people used to go to the merchants and sometimes bankers directly. Now, the bankers and/or merchants would actually ask them for a reference in a lot of cases. And the way this was done was actually by the client bringing in either like a family member or, a local neighbor that can kind of vouch for them. Then bankruptcy laws started to emerge, making the whole credit process a lot longer, tiresome, and more cumbersome. Companies started to experiment with ways to systemize the process. One such company that had success was the Mercantile Agency, also known as Dun & Bradstreet. They tended to use more unethical practices that are actually illegal by today's standards to determine somebody's creditworthiness. And they would use data such as race, class, gender, and oftentimes misreporting. So flash forward a little bit and enter Atlanta's retail credit company in the year of 1899, otherwise known as the RCC. The RCC developed files on millions and millions of Americans. It also took things up a notch with their data collection practices and kept files on sexual orientation, political views, social life, and more. The RCC planned to take all of that information and enter it into their computer systems around the year of 1960. The response was a huge outcry from which there were congressional investigations and the passing of the Fair Credit Reporting Act in the year of 1970. This expunged all of that dirty information that should have never been there in the first place. The RCC then reformed to EQUIFAX in the year of 1975, and this is when the other two bureaus, TransUnion and Experian, come into play. Soon, the workload of organizing all of this data became daunting and resource intensive. Enter the Fair Isaac & Company, aka FICO. This is how the standardized credit score system came into place. Well, that's a lot to unpack. As you can see, the bureaus have a very dark history. So it's important in this day and age, now more than ever, to stay on top of your credit and make sure it's 100% accurate. My name has been Michael, and you have been watching The Credit Agent Show. Thank you so much for tuning in, and we hope to see you in the next one.